Hello, folks. This is Rachel Fleming, the OER librarian at Irvine Valley College. These are the one-shot takes where I am doing quick walkthroughs of slides. It's basically me a lot of reading slides to you specifically about some of these different contents with the most frequently asked questions that I get as an OER librarian from faculty. So this one is specifically about how to do attributions. What is an attribution? If you are remixing or authoring from scratch, you're using OER content, you're going to create a ZTC patchwork course and you're going to link out to OER content. What is an attribution and how do you stop panicking about it? Because it can be very overwhelming. So I'm going to walk you through these slides. These are one-shot takes done in order to give you guys kind of a walkthrough. So what is an attribution? An attribution is giving credit to the original creator. Think of it similar to a citation, but it is openly licensed work. It includes 4 key elements: who made it, what it is, where it came from, and how it is being licensed, also known as tassel. Please note any changes that you made as well, if possible, in your attributions, especially if you did really heavy or not. So why an attribution matters. So an attribution is not optional. This is a legal condition embedded in all 6 main Creative Commons licenses. Skipping it isn't just impolite, it actually puts your work at risk of being out of compliance. Think of it as the price to admissions to using OER content. The best attribution formula is TASL, T-A-S-L, title, author, source, and license. And then a brief description is ideal. Sometimes I see that, sometimes I don't, it just depends. But basically, make sure that you have the name of the original work, you have the author's name, you have the original link to the original source, so someone could go and actually see the original, and then the license that is used on that original work. And if you say made changes, go for it. That's essential. What you need in your attribution. So anytime you use a Creative Commons licensed content in your course, a presentation, in your OER textbook, you must attribute it. This includes textbooks and reading, images and charts. People like to forget that one. They think that just the images and the charts, they don't have to. Videos and slides and any sort of adapted material. If you are, say, in the languages and you're teaching Spanish, for instance, and you have 100 images on the page because you're teaching all of the different fruits. And so you have the picture, and then maybe you have the word in Spanish and the word in English. Okay, you might want to do image attributions at the bottom of the page where you say image attributions and you have image 1 through 50 and you list all the images there rather than putting it right underneath the image. If you only have a couple big images, you might want to put the attribution right underneath the image. That is easier for folks to understand and adapt from. But if you have a massive list of images, sometimes that makes it hard to do that. So you just want to do it at the bottom. Either way, you must have image attributions as well. It's one that a lot of people miss. When you may not need an attribution, okay. Some content doesn't require CC attributions, but transparency is always going to be best practices. So if your original work, you created it, you're not required to put an attribution on it. I strongly recommend that you do. Your own photos, I strongly recommend that you put what kind of attribution you want so that they cannot be used in a way that you don't want them to be used for. So for instance, if you create an image of a child playing a board game and you got a model release or it's your child, okay, and you have that picture, you want to be careful about how that image of that child's being used. Even with a model release, you've got to be really careful. You want to make sure that it's not used in a way that's not appropriate. So you just have to be really careful. Also, if you have images with people in them, you might require model releases for those images on top of it. So be extra careful about that. But public domain and fair use is very limited. Please, please, please be careful about fair use. It is not a get out of jail free card. You cannot use this in OER for any sort of distribution. So fair use usually will not qualify you for OER. It is something that in your class, sometimes fair use, but it's case by case, and I don't recommend it. Image attribution, every time, every image. If you have 100 images, you can put them all at the bottom of the page, but every single image must have an attribution. There are no exceptions to this. If you take the photos yourself, don't you want someone to credit you as well? Make sure that you're putting it under the license that you want. Remixing and reusing. Everything that you're using the material as is, no edits, no changes, that's reuse. That's where basically you take an OpenStax book and you reuse it. Adapt and remix is where you change it. You make options and you modify it, and you need to make sure that you have the tassel listed. When in doubt, did you change anything? Yes, add an attribution. If you made it yourself, add an attribution so you're telling other people how they can use it in the future. Creative Commons licenses are not all compatible, so please be very careful. I have a whole Creative Commons licenses for beginners. a separate video, which is basically walking you through just like, wait, what even is a Creative Commons license? Just know that not all of them are compatible. And there are lots of charts online so that you can look at which ones are or are not compatible, which ones you can use together. Please ask a librarian. If you are using LibreText and their remixer, they will do this for you at the paragraph level. If you are using a Google document or a Word document, you are required to do this manually, which can be a huge time sucker. So I know a lot of people who switch to LibreText purely because of the Creative Commons help that is provided. You still have to do it, but it's much easier to do in LibreText. All right, please be careful. So ND, SA, NC, and NCSA, they can't always be remixed. Even accidentally, it can put you at non-compliance. So please be careful about those. All right, when you choose your own license, really you have to think about this is you communicating to the world how this content can and cannot be used. Okay? Require attribution. I would say, don't you, unless you're not proud of it, don't you want people to attribute it to you? So that's a CC BY. Are you going to allow people to make money off of this work when you don't make money off of this work? If not, you need an NC on it. Are you going to allow others to adapt it? Usually that's required for OER. Are you going to allow them to share it, or do you want them to share it under the exact same license? The only time you don't want derivatives is when it's something that's going to protect a minoritized group. So sometimes firsthand stories, people from minoritized or marginalized populations, they might need protection. And so sometimes that requires something a little different. So recommended OER licenses, the CC BY is the gold standard just because it allows anything to be remixed. It's very, very easy. SA and NC are the other two because they still require quite a bit of flexibility, but the non-commercial one means that no one's making money off of it. All right, what attribution goes in OER? Where do the attributions go in OER? Page level is ideal. Put it at the bottom of each page. If you're creating a Word document, I would just put it in the footer. If you're doing it in LibreText, I would do it at the bottom of each page. Add end of chapter credits as well. And if you have massive images, like I mentioned for the Spanish ones, where you have 50 images attached to vocab words, I would make an image list so that for usability for your folks that are actually reading it. You can also do attribution table on metadata for structure. So attribution table templates. So here's an example. Use the structure. You've got the title, the author, the source link, the license, and you have where you used it. So AI is actually really great at helping you make these. And then I also have an AI bot I can send you that will help build the attribution templates for you so that you're not spending a ton of time writing these from scratch. All right, AI disclosure, what is and isn't. AI is not the same as attribution. You are not crediting an AI tool as an author. You're providing transparency on what you did with it. So a lot of people will include hey, I used AI to help me with my grammar. Hey, I used AI to help me with my organizational skills. Hey, I used AI to help create these presentations. All of these presentations were created with Gamma AI. I had all of my notes and my lecture notes ready to go, and I just threw them into AI. And so that is a disclosure statement. It's my content. As a subject expert, I went through and I double checked it, but I'm being transparent about how I'm using AI. If you're using AI to alphabetize things, if you're using AI to help create definitions for key terms or create a glossary, just say how you used it. Why is AI different from attribution? So under the United States Copyright Office has clarified that protection hinges on sufficient human authorship, creativity in human authorship. So prompts alone don't qualify as that. You would need to basically have human selection, arrangement, editing, original expression. However, say you used AI to help you generate a table of contents and organize information, or you used AI to create a couple infographics. You just have to tell us what you did with that, but you are still the original person. You're the original content. You can put it in a Creative Commons license. You just have to tell us how you use the AI. Human creative decisions are the important element of that. All right. Faculty AI disclosure template. This is an example of one. AI tools were used to support proofreading, organization, brainstorming, and formatting. All disciplinary content examples, interpretation, source selection, and final decisions were reviewed, revised, and approved by a faculty author. This is what's really essential. You've got to think about going forward. Often it's going to be AI created and faculty edited, faculty double checked. You're double checking that the faculty and the subject expert are double checking the content. You don't want to just give AI generated content to students. That's not ethical. But using AI to help you with brainstorming and formatting is an ethical use of AI in OER. Although lots of people are going to argue one way or the other, and it does have an unethical impact. So please be aware of that. Not everyone in the OER world uses AI. Not everyone uses it at all. Some people use it more heavily than others. As long as you're using disclosure and you're being honest about how you did it, personally, my belief is that it's okay to use. Understand that there is an environmental impact as well. Human subject expertise and curation. This is really what it comes down to. AI tools don't teach. AI tools don't know the nuance of humanity. The faculty are the irreplaceable center of quality OER and responsible for making sure that the content is truthful, that it's accurate, that you've embedded the pedagogy, the andragogy, and the pedagogy frameworks into the content, that it is ADA and WCAG compliant and is accessible, that it has culturally responsive pedagogy and UDL built in. That is something that only humans can do. Okay. Your final attribution checklist, the tassel. You're checking that the licenses are actually compatible, that your changes are marked, that your attributions are on every single image, that you have chosen your license intentionally, and that you've disclosed any AI use. And that is the end of our attributions best practices.